For those that are new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications to be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. With the Avengers 4 movie on the horizon having to follow the blockbuster success that was of the Avengers Infinity War, fans within the Marvel Cinematic Universe have been wondering as to what exactly the title is going to be for the upcoming Avengers movie. Now I'm here to debunk a few things as according to the Russo brothers, in which they themselves have gone on record to debunk the following titles that correlate to the upcoming movie, that having to be Avengers Disassembled, Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, Avengers 4 Thanos' Wrath, and of course Avengers 4 Avengers Forever. However, the Russo brothers have gone on record in saying that Avengers Forever was the closest to the title, and elements of Avengers Forever are key points for selling the upcoming movie, which connect to the future of the MCU. Now, the future of the MCU plans on introducing brand new characters never before seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and of course with the Avengers themselves having to have such a deep root in how many people are a part of the Avengers, such as Mockingbird, such as Spider-Woman, such as Jessica Jones, such as Daredevil and Sunspot, Cannonball, and of course Izzy Kane, Manifold, and Victoria Hand. There are so many Avengers cast members and characters that have never been featured in any other movie, and this of course sets up the beginning of what is supposed to be the new Avengers, with the debut film of Captain Marvel having to be featured in April of 2019, 1 month prior to the upcoming Avengers movie. Now, with the plot having to follow the events of Thanos having to wipe out half of the universe, fans within the Marvel community are wondering as to what exactly the direction is going to be as they introduce the current Avengers and having to regain access in bringing back some of their older friends, i.e. Black Panther, Spider-Man, because those members of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are not going to be killed off, because with the upcoming Black Panther and Spider-Man movie, those characters will remain intact. However, we're not so sure about Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Bucky Barnes, and so on and so forth. However, what the upcoming movie may follow its story on is either one of two things, which either option A, they can go in the new Avengers route, or option B, they can introduce Avengers Forever. Now, there is no confirmation that cosmic entities such as the Living Tribunal and characters of that nature like Galactus are going to be appearing in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, that would be such a fantastic thing to see, because can you imagine for the first time if we get to see celestial beings of that nature be appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? For one, we wouldn't have enough characters or enough members within the current Avengers circle to even battle against cosmic entities of that nature to begin with. So what they could end up doing here is following and taking elements of not only Avengers Forever, but also taking elements from New Avengers, taking elements from the Infinity Gauntlet story, and of course the conclusion of the Infinity Battle between Thanos and the Avengers in the comics issue, in order to build towards the future of whatever Marvel's going to be doing with the Avengers title. That can always mean that if they obtain the rights to the X-Men, they can easily have a film called Avengers vs. X-Men. And where have we seen that before? Of course, there have been several comic issues relating to the Avengers having to fight the X-Men. Same thing correlates to the Avengers having to fight Galactus, the Avengers having to fight the Return of Ultron, and so on and so forth. But it's not just the current cast of Avengers that we know about, it's actually a new group of superheroes that we've never seen before, just as I have listed once prior. So with this movie, what they're going to follow up on is defeating Thanos with the requirement of new characters. Now, we do also know that Adam Warlock will not be appearing in this film. Of course, with Adam Warlock having to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that once more can set up towards the Avengers 5 and whatever follows after, which again is going to be good for business, especially if you want to include characters that have never been introduced before, depending on which issue of the comics you want to go off of. And by seeing the transparent business strategy that Marvel is doing, they're clearly following the original Stan Lee and Jack Kirby storytelling aspect of the comics in keeping things traditional in nature. Now, one of the many reasons as to why I believe they might take huge elements of Avengers Forever and adding that into Avengers 4 is because it indefinitely includes the factor of time travel. Now, we saw based on set photos prior that the current cast members of the Avengers movie are wearing these little bracelets, these little hand devices that include Tony Stark traveling through time and meeting different versions of Captain America, different versions of Thor, and that ultimately is going to connect into what's going to happen in this upcoming film, which again connects back to Avengers Forever and bringing in Avengers from both the past, the present, and the future, which can ultimately bring in characters that we've never seen before all come together in their attempts of stopping Thanos now that he has all of the Infinity Stones. Now, we don't know for sure if Tony Stark or whoever is able to manipulate time in that aspect is able to go far enough in the future in seeing what Thanos can do other than Doctor Strange. Once more, Doctor Strange has seen 14 million different outcomes in making the determination that there's only one way to win, one of which ways he had to relinquish the Time Stone to Thanos in order for them to execute that plan in defeating him in the long run. It's a stretch, but it most certainly can work. Now, I do believe that Doctor Strange has foreseen the outcome of this battle, which is why they had to relinquish the Time Stone to begin with. However, we have to make room for the new Avengers, and they can easily do that with the adaptation of what happened in the comics in replacing the old characters with new ones. For example, we can see the replacement of Steve Rogers, we can ultimately see the replacement of Tony Stark, we can have Rhodey take Tony Stark's place, we could have Bucky Barnes take Steve Rogers' place, essentially replacing the older Avengers for a new younger cast for the foreseeable future. Now, for Thanos, they could easily go in one of many directions with Thanos. I personally think that they're going to kill him off in later introducing the character of Death, which could be the saving grace for Thanos in the foreseeable future and bringing him back, because there was a variation in the comics to where Thanos was killed off, but Death had resurrected him and bringing him back once more for the Avengers to face off against. Now that, I think, is a most interesting concept because we've never seen the Death character before. So being that we never saw the Death character before, this could blow the lid in introducing the Death character for the first time and seeing how she would be like to interact with Thanos by the end of the Avengers 4 movie, if in fact they want to go into the direction of introducing the Death character to begin with. Which of course the directors and producers behind the Avengers 4 are kind of left wondering as to what they're going to do. The one thing that I am very interested in, that I do have a video planned on dropping this week, is the arc of Hulk having to finally come into completion and seeing what the Hulk can finally do against Thanos. Now, depending on which version of the comics you see, there are certain variations in the comics to where Hulk actually manages to put up a good fight against Thanos. Now, this is also regarding the fact that Thanos has all of the Infinity Stones, so Hulk at this point is basically at a disadvantage, of course, unless they plan on introducing World Breaker Hulk, which is an immensely more powerful version of Hulk on a massive scale, which again, they can go about that by either killing off Black Widow, because that will give Bruce Banner a reason to reawaken the Hulk inside of him. However, I do also want to point out that, of course, there are so many different variations of the comics where Thanos is out and about doing his own thing and killing off certain Avengers in his own mannerisms the way he wants to see fit, as does Thanos die in certain versions of the comics by the hands of characters that you never thought once expected to see. But for this, they are planning on introducing an Avengers 5, an Avengers 6, and to do so, you can't keep the older characters around forever. So some of the more permanent deaths might actually be Vision, it might actually be Loki, which I do have several videos planned to drop within the next couple of weeks discussing how Vision comes back, discussing Black Panther's new god suit. There's so many things to dive into the lore when it involves the Avengers and involves the interaction between T'Challa and Tony Stark and Bruce Banner and Thor, having to have different versions come about. I just feel like personally they're going to pull and they're going to take bits of details from the previous comics, such as New Avengers and Avengers Forever, to continue this story, because remember, Thanos is not going to be the be-all end-all villain unless they plan on introducing celestial villains, celestial characters that are far more powerful than Thanos in nature. So the Russo brothers have cleared up several misinformation that involves Avengers 4 in terms of titles, in terms of plots, so make sure that you guys are subscribed onto this channel to be in the loop whenever news, information, updates, and of course spoilers are revealed for Avengers 4. But in the end, guys, let me know your thoughts down below as to who you think they're going to introduce in the future to carry on for Avengers 5, Avengers 6, and movies of that nature. nature, because it doesn't just end with Phase 4. This is going to continue for a long time, so with that, you're going to have to reintroduce newer characters in the form of different people taking their position, i.e. Bucky Barnes having to take over for Steve Rogers and etc. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are stoked, ready, and excited for Avengers 4, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Tune back in for more if you guys enjoyed. Slap a like on the video. I'm personally excited to see what Ant-Man, what Spider-Man, what several characters are going to do once they all come about together in Avengers 4, because there is going to be a moment to where we are going to get all of the Avengers together, but the question is, when bringing all of the Avengers together, what are they going to do? Are we going to see certain characters get picked off there, or are we going to get to see certain characters remain as time goes on? So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Long live Avengers, long live comic books. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.